Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to all of you. Please take your seat as we are about to commence shortly. Please allow me to make some administrative announcements. Firstly, for identification purposes and entry to all conference sessions and functions, we would appreciate all the delegates to wear name badges at all times. Please collect your badge from the registration counter if you have already not done so. Your name badge has got a QR code. Please scan it to get a PDF copy of the program schedule. You will find it useful to track the program sessions and also plan your time ahead. While inside the conference room, please put your mobile phones in the silent mode to avoid disruption to the conference proceedings. We have a conference app both for Android and iOS. Most of you have already downloaded and have been using it for fixing appointments with fellow delegates. We encourage you to browse through various exhibitors and sponsor launch. We also have some fabulous prizes for those who are highly interactive on the social media. Besides, you can post your questions as we walk through the day and tomorrow. In case you have not yet downloaded the app, please get in touch with our team at the registration counter. Simultaneous translation service from English to Mandarin and Mandarin to English is available. Please reach out to our volunteers for headset. You may find it handy for listening to the SGEI session later today when the speakers would deliver their talk in Mandarin. Please do note, all the presentations for today and tomorrow would be made available in the conference website, asiapacificpmc.com, in a week's time. Thank you for coming inside. Kindly settle down. A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 6th edition of 2023 Asia Pacific Precious Metals Conference. My name is Vatsa and I would be your MC over the next 2 days. The 2023 Asia Pacific Precious Metal Conference is organized by Singapore Bullion Market Association, supported by Enterprise Singapore and Singapore Tourism Board, held in association with the Chinese Gold and Silver Exchange Society and managed by Evental Global Advisory Private Limited. Before we begin, we would like to take this opportunity to thank all our sponsors. Title sponsor, ABC Bullion, Knowledge Partner, World Gold Council, Platinum sponsors, Paxos, Perfect Hexagon, World Platinum Investment Council, Gold sponsor, Certalin, Cocktail dinner sponsor, Rand Refinery, Cocktail reception sponsor, Metalor, Delegate kit sponsor, Valkambi, Lanyard sponsor, ICBC Standard Bank, Lunch sponsor, LBMA, Logistic partner, Brinks Global Services, Associate sponsors, TD Securities, AC Precious Metals Refinery Limited. Classic sponsors, StoneX, MTS Group, DSV, Public Gold, Ashoka Global, Metal Market Asia, YLG Bullion, BR Metals, Silver Bullion, CME Group, BPI and Integral. Networking break sponsor, Sino Platinum Metals and KGI Asia. Women empowerment sponsor, Women in PGMs. Information partner, Metals Focus. Publication partners, Crucible by SBMA and Bullion World. Ladies and gentlemen, please give all our sponsors, partners and supporting bodies a resounding round of applause. Thank you. May I now invite the Chairman of SBMA, Mr. K. Yap, to deliver the welcome address. Mr. K. Yap was appointed as Chairman of SBMA in November 2021 after serving as its Vice Chairman between 2017 and 2021. He works closely with the SBMA Management Committee supported by a Secretariat. Since 2014, KL Yap has been heading Metalor, the only LBMA accredited gold refinery in Singapore, officially opened in June 2014. Mr. KL Yap, please come and deliver your welcome address, sir.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a warm welcome to the 6th Asia Pacific Precious Metal Conference, hosted by the Singapore Bullion Market Association, supported by Enterprise Singapore and the Singapore Tourism Board. We are honored to have your participation today, joining us from across the globe to discuss the latest development in the precious metal industry. Since 2017, we have several very successful conferences, and last year being a hybrid conference when Singapore opened its border. As we look towards a post-COVID world, we are excited to meet physically together in 2023 again to exchange business ideas and insights. The main purpose of the conference has always been to provide a platform for our stakeholders from the wholesale and retail jewelry sector, mining industry, refineries, bullion banks and trading firms, policymakers and exchanges to meet, discuss and debate ideas and learn opportunity across the Asia-Pacific region. The theme of this year's conference is the role of ASEAN country in building an integrated precious metal market in Asia-Pacific. Precious metal, especially gold, have demonstrated their utility during the pandemic period. They have proven their value during inflationary times and in times of recession and uncertainty. Today, precious metals are increasingly recognized by individuals, institutions, and even governments as valuable components of a diversified investment portfolio, providing a hedge against market volatility and a store of value during uncertain times. Our distinguished speakers and expert panelists will speak and discuss on how ASEAN can play its part in shaping the future of precious metal market in Asia-Pacific and what needs to be done on important issues such as gold bar integrity and ESG, environmental, social, and governance. They will also discuss how regional stakeholders can align themselves with the global precious metal industry to move forward progressively. We will also explore the emergence of PGM in ASEAN market and examine what could be done to create an even more vibrant trading market in Singapore to meet the needs of the different stakeholders. We also have experts from the fintech industry sharing the latest innovation in the digital fintech space and precious metal-backed cryptos. Last but not least, we will examine the precious metal price outlook in light of the developments around the world. We are delighted to have over 470 delegates from 25 countries this year, joining from the ASEAN countries, the wider Asia, and across the group. A total of 207 companies are represented today, and we are honored together with such a distinguished group to learn from each other and explore synergetic opportunities to extend our business strategies. We also encourage those attending in person to make use of the APPMC 2023 application to enable a deeper engagement with the conference material. In addition, we are proud to partner with the World Platinum Investment Council as our live streaming partner, who will be streaming APPMC 2023 live to our counterparts in China for those who are unable to join us today in person. Today, SBMA continues to play a pivotal role in integrating and harmonizing the Asia-Pacific precious metal market, encouraging well-established bullion firms to use Singapore as a center for refining, trading, logistics, voting, price discovery, and risk management. Since our establishment in 2015 with just 22 members, The membership base have tripled to 67 members as of May 2023. This demonstrates the industry continued trust in our mission to develop Singapore as a global hub for precious metal. During last year's conference, I have announced that SBMA has collaborated with Kananish Index Services Singapore to develop an Asian gold reference price on premium and discount of physical kilobar price in the 3 Asian gold trading centers, namely Singapore, Hong Kong, and Bangkok. This reference price will provide industry users with a reference point for negotiation, given traders an orientation of demand and supply situation in various Asian cities. And it could potentially be used as a reference price for future financial products related to physical delivery if sufficient confidence level has been established on its robustness. We conducted a pilot in Q3 of last year, and the feedback from market participants has been positive. We recognize that increasing the number of contributors will be key to ensuring the reference prices accurately reflect market activity. We have since managed to get more contributors to participate in this project. With the support of various market participants and the efforts of Kananish, I'm pleased to announce the official launch of the KIS Gold Reference Price. The daily gold reports and website will reflect that gold reference prices and their trends. We welcome the contributions of members and non-members alike to support the development of the precious metal industry in the region. So before closing, I would like to express my gratitude to Enterprise Singapore and the Singapore Tourism Board and all sponsors for their support to APPMC and SBMA, without whom this conference would not have been possible. I would also like to thank the organizing team who have worked hard in putting this conference together. They are the Eventel Global Advisory Team led by its CEO and Director, Mr. G. Srivastava, or better known as Vasa to all, and the SBMA team led by our CEO, Mr. Albert Chain. Thank you all for your support in what I am confident will again prove a successful major gathering for the precious metal industry. I wish you all a very fruitful two-day conference and networking. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Very interesting statistics, 470 plus delegates from 25 countries and 207 companies. Hope would have an excellent conference going forward. Thank you, Chairman, for a great start for the conference. Enterprise Singapore has been a guide and supporter of APPMC platform since its inception. We have very distinguished executives from Enterprise Singapore, Mr. Ivan Tan, with us here. Sir, we welcome you to the 6th edition of APPMC. Before I call upon you to deliver your address, a brief introduction about Mr. Ivan Tan, Director of Trade, Enterprise Singapore. Mr. Ivan Tan is the Director of Trade with Enterprise Singapore, Enterprise SG, the government agency championing enterprise development. His division is responsible for promoting Singapore as a trading hub and helping Singapore-based companies in the wholesale trade sector to grow and internationalize. Ivan joined International Enterprise Singapore, the predecessor to Enterprise SG, in 2006. Prior to his current appointment, Ivan was the Global Market Director of Southeast Asia from April 2015 to December 2018. Between 2013 and 15, Mr. Ivan was seconded to the Energy Market Authority, EMA, as the Director of Planning. With this introduction, I welcome Ms. Ivan Tan, Director of Trade, Enterprise Singapore, to deliver his address.
Mr. K.L. Yap, Chairman of SBMA, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. I'm delighted to join you in person at this 6th edition of the APPMC organized by the SBMA. Now, the last time we were gathered here was in 2019, before the pandemic. So I'm very happy that we can once again gather here to discuss the trends affecting the precious metal sector and to reconnect with old friends and make new ones. In particular, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all who have traveled from overseas to be with us this morning. SBMA has told me that more than 470 participants from 25 countries spanning Asia, Australia, Europe, and Middle East are present today. So this is up from 380 in the past edition. There are also about 140 companies that are joining us for the first time. I'm also happy to learn that SBMA has partnered several industry players such as Australia's ABC Bullion, Matters Focus, and IGR to organize networking events for the community to forge new connections and enhance existing relationships. These events, organized in conjunction with APPMC, will help to bring the community closer together to seize new opportunities in the ever-changing precious metal trading landscape. Now, despite the dampened global recovery and geopolitical uncertainty, Singapore precious metal sector has remained resilient. According to SBMA, the demand for gold, silver, and platinum remained relatively stable between 2020 to 2022. And last year, the total value of non-monetary gold that were physically traded through Singapore grew by more than 30% compared to pre-COVID levels in 2019. Metalor Singapore, the only London Bullion Market Association certified refinery in Singapore, continued their operations unaffected by lockdown and disruption throughout the COVID period. So as a result, Metalor Singapore recorded over 150% increase in refined gold production in 2020 as compared to 2019. So that's a very, very good result. So congratulations to Metalor Singapore. And at that time, working closely with Enterprise Singapore during the COVID pandemic, Metalor Singapore also helped the industry to avert supply chain disruptions during this period. They were also in a position to capture new market opportunity from local and overseas customers. And besides Metalor continuing to function during the COVID period, I'm also pleased that we continue to attract new players to trade precious metals in Singapore. So one example is MTS Gold is a leading precious metals trader from Thailand. They established and expanded their operations in Singapore during this period. Now, to put things into context, precious metals trading is part of our wholesale trade sector in Singapore. And the wholesale trade sector is one of the main engines for the Singapore's economy, besides manufacturing and the services sector. We remain committed to grow our trade. In last year, our Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. Gan Kim Yong, during budget, announced our Trade 2030 strategy. So under the Trade 2030 strategy, we make a target to increase our total merchandise trade to Singapore 1 trillion, up from about Sing dollar 800 billion by 2030. We also committed to increase our offshore trade from the present about US 1 trillion or so to more than US 2 trillion by that same year. So in order to meet these targets, we will have to do three things. The first is to deepen our trade, to anchor activities beyond trading, and to offer better infrastructure to enable global traders to develop new products, services, and capabilities from Singapore. Second, we will need to widen our trade. So what it means is to attract new trade flows, for instance, in emerging products like electric vehicle metals, carbon credits, and also to diversify our trade from non-traditional markets like Latin America and Africa. And the third is that, not forgetting our own local enterprises, we want to support our Singapore enterprises to ride on new trends and opportunities in areas like sustainability and digitalization. Now, I will touch on the three things that we will do to strengthen the precious metals trading sector, which is a very important sector to wholesale trade because it's a high-value trade and it allows us to move our needle for our larger trade number. So there are three areas we are working on. One is in infrastructure. The second is to build more regional connectivity. And the third is to continue to double down on our effort in talent development. So the first, on infrastructure. In order for us to capture re-export in precious metal, we will need to have additional investment in secure facilities in addition to the existing free port at Changi Airport. So we are proud to share that a local metals dealer, Silver Bullion, will be completing a new storage project named The Reserve in the later part of this year. This new facility will add storage capacity to facilitate re-export and trading activity of precious metals. This is rather timely because we noted that the number of family offices have nearly doubled to 700 from 2 years ago. At the same time, several Asian central banks, including Singapore, have also been actively building out their official gold reserve. So it's therefore important that we must have more state-of-the-art storage facilities so that it will increase Singapore's attractiveness for gold reserve storage and other precious metals. So let me touch on strengthening our regional connectivity, and this is where SBMA play a very important role. Some of the recent efforts that they have engaged in include co-organizing the Hanoi Market Forum with the Vietnam Gold Traders Association supported by the World Gold Council, where SBMA members had the opportunity to interact with Vietnam's key industry players, including the State Bank of Vietnam, and take part in shaping the next phase of Vietnam's gold jewelry industry development. The SBMA CEO, Mr. Albert Cheng, has also, with SBMA Management Committee members, took part in a series of meetings over 3 days in Indonesia with key stakeholders, including the ministries and central banks, to learn about their bullion market development roadmap. And after that, SBMA then facilitated the Indonesian counterpart visit to Singapore earlier this year, where we also get to forge new partnerships and expand on existing ones with our Indonesian friends. And I also understand that SBMA is also in the midst of organizing a half-day forum with the Gem and Jewelry Institute of Thailand, and alongside the Bangkok Jewelry Fair taking place in September this year. So we will need to continue to strengthen our connectivity to ASEAN, which is a high-growth region. Now, finally, we also need to invest in developing in new capability and to reskill the existing workforce in the trading ecosystem. So to this end, Enterprise Singapore has been working closely with trading companies, tertiary institutes, and relevant industry players to grow the professional talent pool in trade and digitalization. So I'll give an example. StoneX has undertaken a collaboration with NTU and SMU to run a 40-hour virtual education course titled StoneX School of Futures with other industry specialists. This course is designed as an introduction to commodity trading for our students. Let me give another example, and this is also supported by Enterprise Singapore, is the collaboration between World Gold Council and SBMA to start a pilot program under the WGC SBMA Academy aimed at training young professionals from the bullion industry. So this program has attracted a diverse group of participants with different expertise from bullion banks, refineries, logistic company, wholesale and retail dealers. So I've shared the areas that we are continuing to work on to strengthen Singapore as a precious metals trading hub, and I hope that gives you confidence to further expand your trading activities in Singapore. So finally, in closing, I would like to congratulate SBMA for putting together another successful APPMC. I'm confident that all the attendees will walk away with valuable insights and fresh ideas from our upcoming panelists and industry experts. So I thank everybody once again for attending the conference today and tomorrow, and I wish everybody a productive conference and a wonderful day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ivan Tan, for an inspiring speech. Just to recap, he has outlined 3 priorities: strengthening infrastructure, deepening market and strengthening regional connectivity, and then developing new capabilities such as sustainability and digitization. Thank you, sir. We look forward to your guidance towards making this platform taking this platform higher and also towards making Singapore the most preferred destination for precious metals in Asia Pacific. Thank you very much. Next, we invite Ms. Ruth Crowell, CEO, London Bullion Market Association, to come over and deliver her special address. As I invite, a few words of introduction about Ms. Ruth Crowell. Ruth was appointed Chief Executive of the LBMA in January 2014. She is responsible for the success and strategic development of the LBMA in partnership with the chairman and the board. She is also responsible for maintaining accountability to and the quality of the association's membership and good delivery refiners, as well as representing the interests of the association in relation to regulators, investors, media, and international precious metals market. Before being appointed Chief Executive, she spent 7 years working in the association, initially as Commercial Director and then as Deputy Chief Executive, where she acted as the main lead on government affairs. She continues to serve as the Vice Chair of the OECD Multi-Stakeholder Governance Group for Responsible Minerals. As Commercial Director, she oversaw the development of the LBMA conference, the LBMA's quarterly publication, The Alchemist, and LBMA website. Prior to joining the LBMA, she worked in bank finance and US corporate law at various law firms, and also acted as a mentor at the UN Commission on Human Rights in Geneva. With this introduction, it's our pleasure to introduce Ms. Ruth Crowell, the CEO, LBMA, to deliver a special address.
Well, thank you so much to Vatsa, to Albert, to KL, and to all of you for the opportunity to address you this morning. I can't tell you how much nicer it is to be here in person in Singapore as opposed to calling you from the supposed comfort of my spare room. The commute is a little longer, but it's certainly worth it. It's always energizing to be back in Singapore, to be back in Asia, and to be back face to find out what the challenges are, what the opportunities are, and how we can all work together. Albert kindly asked me to talk about what LBMA is up to and where Asia can get involved. I'm not going to cover the physical market enhancements because Sakila Mirza, our Executive Board Director, will be covering gold bar integrity in full this afternoon. So if you weren't planning to join at 2:45, I highly encourage you to do so now. There we will talk about this strategic, important initiative about how we can add transparency and further integrity to the physical side of the market. And certainly Asia is crucial in these issues as we focus on kilobars in particular. In terms of financial market enhancements, we've started our gold market review, and part of this is about how do we achieve high quality liquid asset status for the gold market. And here we are really looking for a coalition of the willing, those who are willing to do something new, to address the gaps or the perceived gaps when it comes to the liquidity of the gold market. I think, as already has been mentioned, we've seen significant purchasing from central banks around the world who see the benefit of holding gold on balance sheet. We want to see that same benefit extended to commercial banks, to traders around the world, and getting gold classified as a high-quality liquid asset would achieve that. I'm delighted to hear the developments in terms of the KIS reference price, and certainly addressing transparency is crucial to this aim. We're able to start the conversation with regulators because we have the LBMA trade data, thanks to everyone in the industry contributing information on daily trading. But we need more when it comes to pre-trade transparency, and in particular, reference prices. So looking forward to hearing from you in terms of your willingness to get involved, and actually what you've already achieved here in Singapore and here in Asia. In terms of sustainability, I have a lot more on that, as is a key issue for us at LBMA. And Sakila is also leading on this, but I'll give you some of the highlights. In terms of communication and engagement, I hope many of you are enjoying our virtual roadshows. I'm happy to say we're back in the in-person roadshows. And if you haven't seen our quarterly town halls, I encourage you to do so. There I talk about how we've gotten on in terms of our strategic plan, the initiatives, as well as welcoming industry experts to talk about important issues. Recently, I invited Dr. Jonathan Chaudhry from Metalor, but wearing a very different hat, to talk about recycled gold. This is a crucial issue for the industry, and it's certainly one that we've seen as we've gone to conferences around the world where there's probably the most heated debate. There's also probably the most definitions of any topic, and the number of groups looking to get involved has been a bit overwhelming, even for LBMA. So I'm delighted to see that ISO has decided to take on this challenge, headed up by Dr. Chaudhry, and John is here if you haven't spoken to him about it or you'd like to learn more. We at LBMA will be joining, and we encourage you to get involved and to do the same. This is all part of a wider effort to talk about how do we define green gold when it comes to the market and what investors want to see. We've developed criteria with refiners around the world, with London vaults, about what we can provide that addresses more than just recycled. It's looking at all the key aspects of gold supply, whether it's mined, recycled, or artisanal mined, and trying to have an ethical approach that acts as a force for good. So far, the feedback has been mixed. I think there's still an enormous amount of focus on carbon, and we look as an industry to see how we can holistically address all of these challenges. So I encourage you to get in touch with Jonathan when it comes to recycled, me when it comes to green gold generally, and to help us reach out to the downstream. In terms of the sustainability agenda more holistically, there's a lot of public consultations coming your way. First and foremost, we have just launched our new 3-year strategy for sustainability and responsible sourcing. We look forward to hearing from all of you in terms of feedback as to how we've gotten this right. And again, this is about this holistic approach, not just in terms of conflict financing, climate, but also challenges on the ground when it comes to social issues. Please have a read, please feedback directly, or come see myself as well as Sakila over the course of the next few days and months. Responsible silver, that's also a key initiative that we see coming down the track. You'll see the next version of the guidance coming live in the next coming months, and this is important as these issues are not just focused on gold, but certainly all precious metals. So please give us your feedback and what the challenges are. Certainly silver has been a very important market and an important metal for precious metals and will continue to be so. I think finally I wanted to mention artisanal mining. I think this is the biggest challenge for us as an industry, the biggest challenge for a generation. I'm personally conscious that when we raised standards in 2012 and made the responsible gold guidance mandatory, we made it much harder for responsible but informal actors to access the international, the professional markets. And I think the clearest case for that has always been with one of our older good delivery refiners, Central Bank of Philippines. Here we saw the amount of tonnage coming from artisanal miners drop significantly. And that's something we're trying to change. One of the focus in terms of making sure we're a power for good and defining green gold as something that makes a difference is how do we support these 40 million miners around the world. What we've seen over the years is a significant decline in tonnage going away from good delivery. We want to see that stop. We want to see it reverse and coming back into the fold, which is why we have launched a task force bringing together not only the coalition of the willing in the industry, because that we've always had, but also government and civil society, and looking at regions around the world where we can have successful projects get going that serve as shining examples for other countries and other jurisdictions. I've mentioned here in terms of the key jurisdictions, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, Peru, Colombia, and of course, Philippines. We'll be looking at the analysis in terms of where do we have stable government, where do we have supportive large-scale miners, supportive good delivery refiners, and support on the ground when it comes to civil society. because we are talking about the developing world and things will go wrong. We need support when that happens to make the case that it's important to do the right thing and to source from these vulnerable people in a responsible way. So hopefully we will have much action to report when we all meet again. But I really wanted to say, we want to hear from you. When it comes to the coalition of the willing on the financial market enhancements, it sounds we have a lot to learn from Asia. Please let us know, please get involved. In terms of our sustainability goals, it only works if you are active. So please give us your feedback on what we have identified as key priorities, and let's make sure that we get it right to realistically be a force for good. And hopefully join us in Barcelona where we can talk about the action to date and make our plans for the future. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and looking forward to the next few days.
Thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Crowell, for updating us on the key developments at the LBMA, working on getting high-quality liquid asset status for gold. It's very interesting, and there are several other interesting aspects she has touched upon: recycled gold, green gold, sustainability, responsible silver guidance is something first time I'm hearing. And it's so nice that LBMA is actively engaged with artisanal mining sector also. Lots of learning from that specific address of Ms. Ruth Crowell. Thank you very much. Next, it's our pleasure to invite Mr. David Tait, CEO, World Gold Council. Global CEO, World Gold Council, I beg your pardon, to deliver a special address. David Tait was appointed CEO of the World Gold Council in November 2018. During his 35 years in the financial services industry, David has worked for a variety of highly regarded firms, most recently as Global Head of Fixed Income Macro Products at Credit Suisse. Prior to that, he has held senior trading roles at Credit Suisse, UBS Investment Bank. He is currently an independent member of the Bank of England's FICC Market Standards Board and chairs the Precious Metals Working Group. Please welcome Mr. David Tait, Global CEO, World Gold Council, to deliver his special address.
Good morning, and thanks to both the SBMA and the APPMC for inviting me here to speak today. I appreciate it. To me, Singapore epitomizes the best of the global gold market. Not only a gold market hub in one of the most dynamic regions in the world, Singapore is also both a facilitator of gold trade across Southeast Asia and a major refining center. It's a stable, well-regulated financial center, increasingly respected internationally as a vaulting location. Singapore is also at the forefront of the digital revolution that has the potential to transform the industry, and it's that same digital technology that makes it a very exciting time for the gold industry. On average, over $150 billion worth is traded every single day, making gold more liquid than US Treasuries, whilst at the same time, being a physical asset with no credit risk, it is considered by most as a safe haven. In many ways, it performs differently from other asset classes, making it an effective portfolio diversifier and risk mitigator. However, many institutional and retail investors shy away from this asset, owing to the many associated trust issues, provenance concerns, barriers to market participation, capital costs, and settlement risks. I've had first-hand experience of this, as I was the person who shut down the global commodities trading operation, including, ironically, gold at Credit Suisse. Why? Because it was simply too difficult, risky, and expensive to be involved with relative to other asset classes. And so it's clear that in order to broaden gold market participation, especially institutional participation, this trust deficit needs to be addressed. In this context, our job at the World Gold Council is not just about making the case for gold to investors, although that is a very important part of what we do. We also work to ensure gold remains relevant, trusted, and attractive to both current and potential investors by promoting market innovation and development to expand access to gold and ensure our market across the entire value chain operates at the highest levels of integrity. For example, we are working to ensure gold is responsibly produced and, importantly, is recognized as such. Environment, social, and governmental concerns are now at the forefront of the global investor and policymaker agenda, as you know, and we are often at the center of those discussions. Fortunately, the gold industry has a very positive but often overlooked story to tell in this regard, as a huge amount of work has gone into ensuring gold is produced responsibly. As an organization, we are leading the ESG agenda for gold and gold mining, from development of the responsible gold mining principles to our comprehensive annual research into the impact of climate change. The Responsible Gold Mining Principles, or RGMPs, which we launched in 2019, provide an overarching framework that sets out clear expectations for consumers, investors, and the downstream gold supply chain as to what constitutes responsible gold mining. The principles draw on the wide number of global instruments and codes that have been created over the last 20 years by such bodies as the UN, OECD, and multilateral banks. These codes have been hugely important in setting out expectations pertaining to responsible gold mining, and they continue to drive ongoing improvement. Building on this work, together with the LBMA, we convened key actors in the global gold industry to develop an industry declaration of responsibility and sustainability principles. These principles, announced last October, are acting as a catalyst for further change, and I'm looking forward to further developments when the signatories group, kindly chaired by Albert Cheng, meets this August in India. Our commitments in this area extend beyond the mine gates and into gold's wider ecosystem. The WGC and LBMA have also partnered to develop and implement an international system of gold bar integrity, using the latest digital technologies to create an exhaustive, immutable database for all gold. The aim is to expand the trusted, closed-loop ecosystem, which currently exists for the 400-ounce gold bar, to incorporate smaller bars, including kilo bars. This will help consumers, investors, all market participants trust that their gold is authentic and responsibly sourced. In this context, the WGC has invested in a company called Exedris, a Swiss company, who we firmly believe can provide the necessary, robust technology our industry needs. Global adoption of the Bullion Integrity Database is also the critical foundation for a more accessible and fungible market that will unlock much greater demand. My thanks to the SBMA for their commitment to the database program. In addition, I am currently working with my board, all 33 large-scale mining CEOs, towards adoption and leverage of this platform to bring greater transparency to gold doré flows from mine to refiner, and you will hear more about this in the coming months. Furthermore, we've extended this global integrity initiative to retailing, having learned through our consumer research that lack of trust is often the main barrier to new investment in gold. As this is particularly the case in the retail sector, we've taken the lead in developing the Retail Gold Investment Principles, which give gold product providers a detailed and comprehensive set of best practice and an implementation and roadmap to guide them. Alongside the principles, we have issued the Responsible Gold Investor Guidance to help inform consumers what to expect from their retailers and so further improve standards. It is our hope that the RGIPs and the investor guidance will increase trust in the sector and again, unlock new demand for gold. Since the global principles were launched, we have been working on their implementation at a national level in key markets, including India, China, Germany, the US, Canada, UK, and here in Singapore. And I'm pleased to see that the SBMA has created a Retail Markets Committee that is specifically looking at a local code of conduct. The Singapore Code of Conduct will be launched this year, which we are hopeful will form the basis for adoption throughout the major gold markets in Southeast Asia. Underpinning all this work is digitalization. The digital revolution is upending the entire financial services sector, and the gold industry will not be immune from this. We must take advantage of the latest digital technologies to transform how we interact with consumers and investors, how we trade gold, and how we ensure that gold has been responsibly sourced, produced, and traded. Key to unlocking this is the use of distributed ledger technology to create universally accepted digital twins of every unit of physical gold. This forms the basis of the global gold integrity database I previously mentioned, making gold traceable and trusted. However, making gold both fungible and accessible is the next step in the digitalization process. Standardizing gold into a fully gold-backed digital format that removes risk, lowers barriers to entry, improves participation, and lowers the capital costs for institutional investors must be our goal. We are, in essence, working to remove the very reasons I was forced to close the Credit Suisse operation. These digital efficiencies will lead to greater demand for gold from both the asset management community and the retail sector, and quite obviously will be of huge benefit to us all. And so we have before us a great opportunity. Technology has finally given us the chance to place gold alongside all other mainstream financial assets and remove the barriers that have held it back for so long. But no one stakeholder can do this on their own. Only with the entire industry working together as one, under one banner, can we make this happen. Industry engagement and collaboration is at the heart of what the WGC does. A recent example of how powerful collaboration can be is at the Financial Market Standards Board, the FMSB, and the multi-stakeholder working group convened to identify necessary enhancements to the OTC market. Over the past 3 years, the Precious Metals Working Group, chaired by myself, made up of the world's leading banks, financial institutions, the LBMA and WGC, has undertaken an extensive review of this market and published a number of observations as to how fairness, effectiveness, and transparency can be enhanced. One of the many observations identified by the working group is the fact that gold is not recognized as a high-quality liquid asset, as you've heard. That it requires collective industry action, and we will be working alongside the LBMA and key industry stakeholders to address both this hugely important issue and a number of other significant market developments. In conclusion, digitalization will transform our market, but there is no point digitalizing an asset that isn't completely trusted. We must work together as an industry to develop universally accepted solutions that ensure our market operates at the highest level of integrity. We have an opportunity to make gold accessible to all. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing the discussions over the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Tait, for a wonderful address addressing trust deficit to attract institutional investors. That's a key takeaway for me. Another interesting thing is my goal, which is the first time I'm hearing it, establishing transparency in the Dori flows. Thank you very much, sir, for an excellent address. China is the largest physical market for gold. China is also the largest producer and importer of gold. Shanghai Gold Exchange is the pivot for all things connected with China precious metals market. We have invited Gu Wenshaw, Vice President SGE, to deliver his special address. However, due to some urgent last-minute work assignment, he is unable to attend. Mr. Ming, Supervisor, Shanghai Gold Exchange International, will deliver his address on behalf of Mr. Gu. As I invite him to deliver the address, a brief introduction about Mr. Ming, Supervisor of Shanghai Gold Exchange International. He has successfully served as Deputy General Manager of Marketing Department, General Manager of Audit and Compliance Department, and General Manager of Membership Department of Shanghai Gold Exchange. He joined SGE in 2003 and participated in the construction of the spot market and international board of Shanghai Gold Exchange, with a deep understanding of gold trading business and the bullion industry. With your permission, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite Mr. Ming, Supervisor, SGEI, to deliver his special address with a round of applause. If you need the help of, because he would be making his presentation in Mandarin, our volunteers will come with a headset should you need one. Thank you.
尊敬的叶先生、伊凡坦先生、鲁斯克鲁威尔女士、泰达维先生、各位来宾、朋友们，大家上午好！非常荣幸能够参加亚太金融峰会开幕式，与各位共同探讨亚太黄金市场的发展之道。由于紧急事务的安排，交易所副总裁顾文硕先生未能亲自莅临开幕式，他对此深表遗憾，特委托我传达致辞，向各位来宾致以最诚挚的问候，向峰会的召开致以最热烈的祝贺。作为由中国人民银行组建的国家级黄金市场，上海黄金交易所始终坚持推动黄金生产、消费、流通管制的市场化发展，建立了涵盖竞价、询价、定价、租借、ETF、金币等功能齐全、优势互补的6大市场，成为了中国黄金市场的枢纽以及全球重要的黄金交易中心。依托中国庞大的黄金市场的优势，上金所进一步推进了对外开放，在推动亚太黄金市场一体化的方面，我们着力完成了以下3个方面的工作：一是打造国际化的交易平台，为亚太市场机构提供公开、透明、高效、便捷的交易渠道。2014年，上金国际推出了黄金国际版，实现了境内外的市场的有效联通。国际会员从最初的40家增长到目前的100家，约70%以上都是来自亚太市场。市场的参与主体日益的多元化，涵盖了国际的知名银行、交易商、券商、精炼商、珠宝商等。国际版的交易规模持续扩大，交易金额从2014年的450多亿上升到2022年的2.09万亿。同时，我们持续推进跨市场的联通，与香港金银贸易场联合启动了黄金的沪港通，与4家“一带一路”沿线的市场机构签署了合作备忘录，探索交易流、信息流、人员流的互联互通。二是推进了亚太市场的标准化共享，实现了区域化的标准一体化，结合亚太市场的交易特点， 上经所推出了上海经的标准体系，该标准已取得了国际市场的广泛认可。芝加哥商品交易所集团、迪拜多种商品交易所上线了以上海经为基准价的期货合约。伦敦经营贸易市场协会与上经所在标准制定、互认等方面也是开展了交流。上经所的标准体系在亚太市场的影响力也日益的扩大，已有亚太机构参与了上海经的定价。三是联通国内外的黄金产能，推动区域产业升级。以东盟为首的一带一路沿线地区的黄金资源丰富，消费需求旺盛，发展潜力巨大。中国拥有完整的黄金产业链体系，先进的黄金开采精炼技术、产品设计及加工能力，能够与“一带一路”的沿线市场形成有效互补，为充分的发挥境内外的产业链的桥梁作用，我们推出了黄金之路项目，落地黄金的租赁加珠宝加工、标准金锭加工服出口等业务模式，有效降低企业的业务成本，推动区域的黄金资源、资金、技术的共享。多家“一带一路”的沿线产业链企业、银行类机构已参与了该项目。中国与东盟睦邻互信，拥有广泛的共同利益，连续2年互为最大的贸易伙伴，合作方面基础稳固。随着“一带一路”市场合作不断加深 ，RCEP 的机制的红利持续的释放，东盟等国的黄金投资及消费需求不断的增强，中国与亚太黄金市场的合作的前景更加的广阔。未来，上海黄金交易所将抓住机遇，从4个方面提升对外的开放的水平，为构建亚太一体化的市场注入新的动能。第一，扩展交易平台的广度和深度，提升亚太黄金资源的配置效率。我们将继续拓展市场的辐射范围，丰富市场的结构，吸收东盟“一带一路”沿线产业链的企业、保险等金融机构、主权基金等央行类的机构、做市商机构入市，继续拓展产品的业务的条线，研究出国际版的白银等产品，做大做强机构间的询价市场、黄金的租赁市场，提升机构间的交易效率以及交易的服务的实体的功能，继续完善基础设施的建设，推进清算账户体系的延伸、海外网点的设立等工作，构建与国际接轨的交易系统、国际畅通的资金结算体系，以及兼容国际的交割储运的网络。第二，建立健全黄金市场的标准体系，加大亚太黄金市场的标准供给。东盟及亚太市场主要交易存设为4个9的公金条，相较于欧美标准，上经所的标准体系更符合当地的需求。下一步，我们将持续完善上海经的标准体系，为亚太市场国家，尤其是实物的标准尚未统一的国家提供标准参考，提升亚太市场的黄金价格的透明度和配置效率。一方面，我们将持续优化黄金的交割标准，建立健全负责任的交割体系，与伦敦经营市场协会协同推动全球统一的公金条的标准共建，提升上海经标准的国际度认可。另一方面，我们将持续优化上海经的价格标准，丰富上海经的集中定价的参与主体，支持亚太市场和市场机构使用上海经开发出期货、ETF 等衍生品。第三， 加强中国与亚太市场的产能合作，推动亚太黄金产业链的升级融合。近年来，东南亚金饰及金锭的需求增长迅速，质量的要求也日益的提高。我们将借此机会进一步在东南亚推出黄金之路项目，疏通各项的产业链的流通环节，为东南亚产业链的企业及中国的优质加工企业合作提供便捷的渠道，丰富产业链的企业交易的模式及业务的类型，降低企业的融资成本，提高黄金和资金的使用效率。同时，我们将继续向产业链企业减费让利，降低企业在国际版交易仓储的成本。第四，深化跨市场的交流协作，促进亚太市场资源的共享和基础设施的互联互通。目前，亚太黄金交易市场的发展水平较不平衡，部分国家尚未建立官方市场，交易的效率低。未来，我们将进一步发挥自身的优势，积极地接洽交易所、协会等机构，建立联合推介、信息共享、人员交流等合作机制，支持各国黄金市场基础设施建设及互联互通，推动亚太黄金市场的逐步向规范化、透明化、一体化方向转型。构建亚太一体化黄金市场离不开市场各方的通力协作。上海黄金交易所期待通过此次峰会，进一步深化与市场各方的合作交流，共同建设开放、合作、互利共赢的亚太黄金市场。谢谢大家。
Thank you very much, Mr. Ming, Supervisor SGEI, for a wonderful presentation on SGE and in general China, the most important physical marker for gold in Asia-Pacific region. Ladies and gentlemen, with this we have completed all presentations for the inaugural session. But before we formally close, we would request all the distinguished dignitaries of the inaugural session, as I read out, to request them to come on the stage for a group photograph. May I request Mr. K. Liap, Chairman SBMA, Ms. Ruth Crowell, CEO LBMA, Mr. David Tait, Global CEO World Gold Council, and Mr. Ming, SGEI, to come on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. We will have a group photograph. Mr. Ivan Tan, please. Without Enterprise Singapore, we can't think of any development or APPMC. A big round of applause for our speakers of the inaugural session of the 6th edition of 2023 Asia Pacific Precious Metals Conference. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have a special session on Shanghai Gold Exchange going forward. Thank you very much.